There's so many rasgueados or rasgueos that we can do in Spanish guitar, and that really just means we're hitting our nails against the strings. One of the coolest ones of all time, though, is this. We can call that the Triplet Rasgueo because it's groups of 3 happening there, although rhythmically there's different things we can do to it. I think that's one of the most fun ones to do, and once you get that down, it takes a while and it takes some dedication to really get good at that technique. But once you have it, it's actually pretty easy to do and pretty easy to sustain over long periods of time. And in this video, I want to show you 5 things to not do, 5 things to watch out for as you play this technique to make sure you're doing it right. It sounds really complicated and that there's a lot of things happening, and there are definitely some nuances to it, but really, as far as the strokes go, there's only 3 things. We're going up with the thumb, down with the middle finger, and down with the thumb. You'll see different combinations, and there are different ways to play this same rasgueo. Like some people go up with the thumb, down with the middle and the ring squeezed together. Gives you a little more volume and body on that downstroke, and then down with your thumb. That's essentially the same thing that I'm doing. You'll also see it played like this, which is very hard to do, but very much worth practicing. Up with your thumb, down with your pinky. That's totally weird. And then down with your index finger. So up, thumb, down, pinky, like that. That's another way. Or substitute your ring finger for your pinky, and you have up with your thumb, down ring, down index. Your thumb is so strong and your middle finger is so long. Hey, that rhymed. They can kind of even each other out, so you're less likely to get a lopsided effect, which we don't want. We want things to be pretty much even, although we can have an accent on the upstroke with that thumb. But as you're working on and perfecting this technique, make sure that you don't do these 5 things. Now, this first one is for people who are just learning it, and that is don't move from your wrist yet. Ultimately, we're going to get a lot of speed and power and sustain. Sustain meaning we can do it for a long period of time with our wrist like this. And notice how I'm using my pinky and my thumb as counterweights here. And that's how we're going to drive it. But if you start out that way, you're getting the cart before the horse, absolutely, by using your wrist first. First, don't use your wrist at all. Forget about the wrist and just memorize these motions. This is how you have to do it when you first start learning this technique. It's up with the thumb, maximum stroke, all the way up. Then go down with your middle finger, all the way out, and then all the way down with your thumb. And you got to memorize that. You can do that in your car. It's up with the thumb. Remember, no wrist, because if you don't have that totally internalized and totally memorized, that motion, once you start trying to swing from the wrist, which ultimately is going to give us that speed, you're definitely going to mess it up and you're going to get it wrong. You have to memorize those strokes first. Don't have your knuckles parallel to the strings. Having your knuckles parallel to the strings is kind of a classic textbook way of orienting your hand. You might see that in an old school classical guitar book. It might make sense when you're doing tremolo. See, these 3 fingers are going to play on the same string. Even still, I like to tilt a little bit so that we're not playing at such a harsh angle and we're less likely to hang on our nail that way. I know I'm talking about a different technique now. Okay, when we're doing this, notice if I tried to do that with my knuckles parallel in this more arpeggio type position, if I tried to do the rasgueo from there, I'm going to be attacking the strings from a very weird side angle, and I'm probably going to get stuck in the strings, especially with my thumb. And when we watch people doing this really fast and really long, they're going to be more at a slant here, and that's really going to facilitate all of these strokes. Don't get too deep in the strings. This happens quite a bit because we're moving up with our thumb and down. We can get caught on the string as we go down and stick right here. Or if we're approaching from too much under the strings, we get stuck and end up going underneath. You can really get gun shy if you do that a couple of times with a lot of force and you end up getting your thumb stuck in the strings. It's going to hurt and your thumb's going to start to get scared to make any motion at all. But what we want to do is think of this motion with the thumb as an arc. See, there's a low point to that arc. Try to make the low point the 2 middle strings of the guitar so that when you approach the first string, you won't be hitting it from an angle like this where we might get stuck. You'll be hitting the first string less because I'm coming from this direction. The lower part of that arc will be in the middle 2 strings, and then I won't hit this one as much. We can move things around once we get good at the technique to emphasize certain strings, but what we're trying to do here is to not move in a straight motion like this where we will get stuck. We want to have kind of a dip or an arc to it. You can see when I get going on this, that's definitely what's happening with my thumb there. Hey, I go super in-depth on this technique in my Ultimate Nylon String Guitar Guide course. Check it out. Don't accent anything except the upstroke with the thumb. Now, ultimately, we want everything to be nice and even so that we don't have an accent at all, or we don't have to have an accent, okay? So we should be going up, down, down, up, down, and try to make every stroke even. But if we had to have an accent somewhere, it should be on the upstroke. So I think it's better to err on the side of accenting on that stroke than another one, because once you start accenting on another finger, it's going to sound very wrong and it's going to be hard to undo it. But there's a caveat to everything. There are definitely cases where you might want to start on a different stroke and therefore accenting on the downstroke with a thumb, for example. One other thing to mention real quick, just as an aside, these are triplets, triplet, 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 right? But you could play the same technique in groups of 4 like this. I'm going, those are 16th notes, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3. And I'm just waiting on the 3 there. The technique is the same though. But that's why I say that there's caveats to things. We're not always going to accent always on the up with the thumb, but I think it's a good place to do it. See, every time, you heard that pulse there. And very often when you hear this technique, it goes like this. We'll hear 3 plus another one, 4 altogether, but it really sounds like triplet into the next beat. Bum. And that's how you hear this technique executed 99% of the time. Now my last Triplet Rasgueo don't is a very important one, kind of a more technical one, and that is don't let your thumb move when your middle finger strikes the strings. So like we started at the very beginning, the strokes are up with your thumb, down with your middle finger, and down with your thumb. Well, when you go down with your middle finger, your thumb is going to want to follow it like this. Up with your thumb, down with my middle. Now look where my thumb is. If my thumb follows the middle finger like it just did, the final stroke in this group of 3 is a downstroke with my thumb, but I can't do it because my thumb's already down, and that means I have to come back again. I've already wasted time. And so we're likely to have a pause or a gap right there, and then I have to go down again. So think of it like your thumb's in the air, your middle finger comes down, but your thumb is suspended in air. I know I have a weird thumb. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean that I'm better or worse at any of this stuff. It's all about practice. So if my thumb is pointing to, let's say, my forehead. Keep it there as you go down. You might even have to come over here. Sometimes you have to manhandle yourself. Up with your thumb, grab your thumb, and go down with your middle finger. It's all about keeping that thing suspended in air so that it's ready and prepared to go down. So up with the thumb, down with the middle. See, it's up in the air like that. So if we took the middle finger out of it, your thumb is going up, down, up, down. That's all it's doing. But the middle finger needs to strike while the thumb is up, so that you don't have an interruption there or have to retrace your steps to come down again with your thumb. Those are my top 5 do not do things for this technique. This technique really is fun to play, and once you get used to it and good at it, you're going to want to just jam it into everything that you can. You can put it in a Roomba. You can cram it in there, you're going to want to do it. Don't do it all the time because people will start to go, what's wrong with that guy? Like I said, there's tons of rasgueos that we can do, and check out this video to look at some really weird ones.